never. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to HBCU Game Day. This is SJG, and you're watching Verified Sources with SJG. A little bit different ambiance here, out of the studio, here on location at North Carolina A&T State University, where the North Carolina A&T Aggies just announced, along with the Hampton Pirates, they will be in the HBCU Classic presented by AT&T, which will be at All-Star Weekend. So a lot of excitement here today. So I figured I left my fleece spray, but I might as well go ahead and come over anyway and check out North Carolina A&T and see what they have going on. North Carolina A&T is in the CAA, as is Hampton. North Carolina A&T started off in the CIAA, moved to the MEAC, was there for a long time, then over to the Big South along with Hampton, and eventually both of them landed in the CAA. So I got a chance to talk to Earl Hilton, who is the AD, and he had talked to me about, what that relationship has been like with the CAA as they head into their fourth season overall and their third as a member of the conference in football. All right, so we're here with AD Earl Hilton, North Carolina A&T, and you guys just had a really big announcement today here on campus.
Yeah, excited about the chance to play in the NBA HBCU All-Star Classic.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I was talking with one of the promoters. It's been the MEAC, SWAC, CIAA, SIC, and you guys in Hampton kind of fell right in there.
Right.
Just talk about getting the call and kind of what that means for the basketball program.
Sure. If my memory serves, this is something we've been working on for about 18 months. We had some conversations last year and then couldn't make it work with our schedule, and so excited to be able to work on it and get things lined out in a way that it's going to line up perfectly for us, for Hampton, and for the CAA, hopefully, as we play a conference game in California.
Yeah, no doubt. And as Chancellor talked about all the things that come along with that ancillary, but for you guys, you're heading into year 4 in the CAA.
3 in football,
3 in
so
football,
4 and everything else.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
We had the commissioner here. He talked about what you guys have added to the conference. Just talk about where you guys are in terms of the flexibility it's provided you guys with, I think, your TV contract and being able to kind of broadcast local games and some of the things you guys have been able to take advantage of since you've been here.
Oh, absolutely. The local linear is a big deal for us. 45, the CW channel out of Winston-Salem. That's been a fantastic arrangement for us to be able to broadcast football and basketball games, men's and women's. And then as well, CBS, I think you mentioned in the earlier meeting, that we've got 3 or 4 opportunities last year to be on CBS, a national CBS brand, and certainly this opportunity will be, I think Peacock is who will be running this game through. So that kind of national and really international exposure, it's hard to put a price on from an institutional perspective. For the student athletes, the goal of education is to expand their world, to help them see a bigger picture. And an opportunity to go to Los Angeles to participate in a professional sports venue and to meet professional athletes and as well see how all this is made, the executives and the behind the scenes stuff that occurs with the game will expand their world. I mean, it will show them things and give them experiences and opportunities they've never had before. And that's what athletics, that's what education is all about.
After that, I actually had a chance to catch up with the chancellor at North Carolina A&T. He's been there for not quite a year yet, but he has a whole year of athletics under his belt. So I had a chance to talk to him about what his first year has been like, what he's learned about these Aggies, and the future of college athletics and how A&T fits into all of it. So check that out here. Dr. Martin, big announcement here today. North Carolina A&T going to be taking on Hampton in the HBCU Classic 2026. Just talk to me about what your response was when you got the call.
Well, the first thing is I was just incredibly excited and happy for our young student athletes. I knew what it meant to them or what it would mean to them, but to be able to showcase our talents on an international stage with a tradition like the NBA is just incredible. So very thankful to the NBA and AT&T as well. But I know that this is a big deal for us in so many different ways, not just for sport, but we want to showcase our university. And Hampton University is a tremendous university with a rich history that matches a lot of what we believe in, right? So it's a great university to work with in competition. And so even though we'll compete on the court, we're in the same business, this is about changing lives. So I knew that this would be an important opportunity for a showcase.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, this actually comes upon, you're right at, I guess now, your first full year of the job, getting ready for
10 and a half months.
Okay. So, yeah, so getting ready for installation. What have you learned about North Carolina A&T athletically and then as a university in your year as the chancellor?
Well, I think it's the same thing as the incredible people, the culture that we have here. We believe in being there for each other, right? You get a sense of family. We see that in sport, but we see that also across the university. The challenge is, of course, to provide all the resources that we need to really maximize and optimize the opportunities for our student athletes and for our students in general. So our athletics programs, we don't have the funding that some of the big Power 4, Power 5 schools do, but boy, do we have the competitive spirit, and we are building on our resources. But I see the incredible commitment to excellence, and that's special. We got to get a few more resources, but I think with that real strong base, right, with a little bit of leadership and some connections with the right partners, we'll get there. So I'm very optimistic about where it is because of what we have. We have grit, we have resilience, we have confidence, we have folks that really are committed to doing the right things the right way. That goes everywhere. There's not a price tag on that. So I'd rather have the challenge of adding resources than having the challenge of building character. We have that in spades.
Oh, no, that's a great point. And then I'll ask you, you guys opted into the house settlement. I know your AD kind of educates you on that and everything like that, but how important is it for you guys to be at the forefront, you know, for this new day and age where things are changing rapidly, as you said, you know, the resource given, you know.
Well, we joined thousands of other institutions and opted into the house settlement. There weren't a lot of other great options for us. It really comes down to resources again. And it puts pressure on schools without resources to be able to compete and especially retain great student athletes, to recruit great student athletes. So that will be an increasing challenge. It still gives me some concern because I don't think any of us really understand the downstream impact of NIL and the transfer portal. We're just now starting to see what that impact is going to be. 4 or 5 years down the road, we see all these conferences changing. We really have no idea of where this is going to go. But I do know collegiate sports won't be the same. So I just hope we still are able to have a number of opportunities across the whole spectrum of sports for a lot of student athletes. But this house settlement, the changes with NIL, really challenges that. So I see some movement that looks like it will change the distribution of scholarships on campuses across the country. A little bit concerned about that, but because it means that some sports might be eliminated. And that gives me great concern. But here, we have a more balanced approach. But overall, the jury's still out about whether this is the best thing for everyone involved, especially our student athletes.
Last question. First, you got your first athletic year under your belt. What was your favorite athletic moment of your first year?
I think the most important thing is on all our sports, it's not a single moment. It's any time I spend with our student athletes. And you talk about folks that work hard and they're committed. When we have employers come on campus, they often are drawn to our student athletes because they know that they're talking to someone that's worked hard, they're focused on their grades, they get up early in the morning, they play as a team, they have a lot more to do, they have to be disciplined. So anytime I spend with any of our student athletes, I think it's great. And I wanted to build a strong connection with everybody on the teams and all. So anytime I can do that and spend some time with them, that is always my great day, right? So it's not just one sport or one moment. It is all of it together.
Oof. Had to get up out of there. Way too much of that blue and gold. But seriously, a big day for North Carolina A&T as well as Hampton. Both teams both programs are going to have a really great opportunity to showcase their brands nationally.
Hi, my name is Amber Scott, and I am the Director of Social Impact and Inclusion at the NBA.
Okay, awesome, man. We're here today at North Carolina A&T. Big announcement, they are going to be taking on Hampton University in the HBCU Classic for the
Yes.
NBA. Talk about that and having these two schools here.
Yeah, well, one, we are just so excited. We are overjoyed to have North Carolina A&T State University and Hampton University competing in the NBA HBCU Classic. This is special because this is actually our 5th year of this game. So we started this game in 2022, and it's really just evolved over the past few years. You know, yes, it's about the on-court play, it's about the rivalries, right, having a competitive game, but the thing that's so special to me is all of the on-court or off-court development, rather. So the students are going to participate in career development sessions. They're going to have a chance to meet different NBA All-Star players. They're going to have a chance to learn about building their brand, their presence, and really just be treated to a VIP experience all around. So our hope is that we're pouring into the students off the court, in addition to helping them with their on-court development. So yeah, 2 amazing schools, 2 amazing institutions as it relates to academic rigor, certainly athletic rigor. So we're hyped.
Whew. Y'all know I could not stay in there long. I had to get out here and come in the heat. Too much blue and too much gold for me. But anyway, as you heard from the AD and the Chancellor, this is a big opportunity for North Carolina A&T and Hampton as well. Hopefully I'll get a chance to talk to the folks over at Hampton before too long, but a big opportunity, one, not only for just being in the game, but this game really is a chance for the HBCUs that participate to take their brand not only national, but international. I know a couple years ago when Winston-Salem State went and beat Virginia Union, a lot of my friends traveled to Indianapolis, Indiana, which, you know, it's cool. Indianapolis, Indiana is a nice place. A couple years ago, they had it for Grambling and Southern in Utah. This place. Last year, they had Tuskegee and Morehouse in Oakland or San Francisco, whatever they're doing, San Francisco. And this year, though, North Carolina A&T and Hampton are going to be LA. So a really nice location. I understand they're going to be playing at the Great Western Forum. That's not going to mean a lot to probably any of these kids. Not anything super special, but, you know, if you're of a certain age, you know, being able to play in the Great Western Forum is crazy. Maybe it'll mean something to them if they tell them that's where Kobe played his first couple years. You know, maybe they'll look it up.
You want it to be one way, but it's the other way.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. If you are on social media in the HBCU spaces, mostly Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, not a week goes by, and sometimes it seems like not a day goes by, where there isn't some type of post from someone about how North Carolina A&T and Hampton University are wasting time in the CAA and how they need to come back to the MEAC. It's always a hot topic. It's always going to be a hot topic. But I'm asking you people, yes, you people, I'm asking you people who post about it to stop. Just stop. It's, in my estimation, and I use it from talking to verified sources, as we just heard from, North Carolina A&T for sure, I have to get a glimpse of Hampton. They are where they are, right? They chose to leave HBCU conferences. Schools make decisions about conferences all the time. HBCUs do it. Again, back in the 1960s, when North Carolina A&T, among other schools, decided to split up from the other HBCUs, the smaller HBCUs, and become a part of the MEAC, you know, that was a decision that they made for their individual university, for the needs that it felt it fit for them. Was it the best thing for the HBCU landscape overall? That's debatable. But what we do know is both Hampton and North Carolina A&T in the last decade have decided to leave the MEAC. First they started out at the Big South, and then the opportunity came for them to get to the CAA, and they have taken the opportunity. You know, you can argue whether or not they were actually ready for it. That is a really good argument, especially when you see North Carolina A&T has not won a football game in the CAA as of yet. That's a real thing, right? But at the end of the day, this is where this is bigger than sports. This is not just the sports programs making a move as the buses from the tours go by. This is not only sports teams making a move or athletic programs making a move. This is institutions making a move, and they have moved to the CAA. And again, from the verified sources that I talked to, including the chancellor, they are looking to do what they can, even given the resource gap that they do have. As was stated by the chancellor, they're looking to do what they can to be competitive and to give their student athletes what they feel is the best overall experience. Now, a lot of people are going to debate and say, but nothing is going to beat the HBCU experience. Nothing's going to beat them being in the MEAC. I get it. Look, I was here for their great run in the MEAC. It was fun. It was awesome. But let's not act like every game was sold out, right? You'll hear people talking about who wants to see them play against Townsend and all these schools. But again, let's not act like every game was sold out. Let's not act like people were packing it out to see Delaware State. People were packing it out to see Morgan State, especially if those games weren't homecoming games. And if they were after homecoming, the crowd's negligible difference. So any way you slice it, North Carolina A&T is heading into their 4th season as a member of the CAA, 3rd as a football playing member, and they've got a ways to go. They understand that. But nothing that I saw today or that I've seen really over the last couple years suggests that North Carolina A&T is looking to move back to the MEAC. I know people are going to argue me down and people are going to say all of these things. It's fine. Put them in the comments. It's all good. But I think North Carolina A&T is home in the CAA. The CAA commissioner seems very happy to have North Carolina A&T and Hampton in the league. I'm literally, almost every time I come to this campus for something athletically, the CAA commissioner is right there. So he's always here in Greensboro, really helping to promote their brand. And so, you talk about some of the linear TV deals and things like that. Those are some things that they have been able to implement being members of the CAA. So it's bigger than ball. At the end of the day, these schools are where they are. They've been moving how they've been moving for a while, and folks just have to accept that. You play them when you can, get your chance to beat them, and talk junk to them until you play them again. So, but look, it's been fun. It's been real. I learned a lot today, but look, I've been on North Carolina A&T campus too long, too long, and it's time for me to hit the exit. I will catch you guys later. Thank you again for watching Verified Sources with SJG.